Imagine sitting in a live studio audience, waiting for a reality television winner to be crowned, only to watch the cast furious storm off the brightly lit stage and disappear into the dark backstage area. Then, the host retreats right behind them, visibly angry. This happened during the live finale of the UK's biggest reality television property. The cast actively revolted against a tightly managed broadcast, breaking the script in real time. If you want to know what forced this live television disaster and exactly what the network tried to hide, hit the subscribe button before we unpack the untelevised timeline. For years, I'm a Celebrity operated on a highly controlled, family-friendly format. You put famous people in a remote jungle camp, feed them rice, give them some physical challenges, and let a predictable rhythm of lighthearted entertainment take over. But this specific live meltdown happened because producers tried to force that simple, lighthearted edit over a deeply traumatic reality. The cast's actual experience was so chaotic that trying to compress it into a clean story broke the illusion completely. To understand the collapse, we have to look at the South Africa All-Star season. From day one, the core tension revolved around two specific cast members. On one side, you have Adam Thomas. He's a beloved soap actor, and the network clearly positioned him as the designated hero. On the other side is Jimmy Bullard. He was framed in the edit as the season's antagonist, the guy creating friction in camp. Producers were essentially designing a collision. By manufacturing a rivalry to drive ratings, they were treating these men as narrative tools, ignoring the real friction that would inevitably build in that camp once the camera stopped rolling. The inciting incident happens when Jimmy refuses to participate in a group Bushtucker trial. Because it was a team challenge, his refusal effectively doomed Adam's chances in the game. If you watched the broadcast, the edit portrayed Jimmy's choice as pure apathy. He looked lazy, like he simply didn't care enough to try. The hidden reality was entirely different. Jimmy was suffering from severe depression in the camp. He was dealing with a major family crisis, carrying the guilt of being away while his father was critically ill at home. This is where the show fractures into two timelines. Adam's reaction to Jimmy stepping down was an abusive tirade. Campmates confirmed he screamed extreme profanity from the sidelines. ITV censored this confrontation. They scrubbed the abuse entirely to protect Adam's wholesome image. By erasing Jimmy's trauma and Adam's aggression, the network created a fictional timeline. The cast was living through a highly volatile situation, but the cameras were compiling a sanitized story that the campmates could no longer reconcile. The environment was already deteriorating when former heavyweight boxing champion David Haye entered the toxic camp. Haye immediately began a campaign of psychological warfare against Adam. He later justified his aggressive behavior by claiming he was simply trying to teach Adam a lesson. Inside the jungle, the toxicity was worsening by the day. Outside, the public was watching a heavily curated broadcast that reinforced Adam as the untouchable fan favorite. Because this All-Stars season was pre-recorded months in advance, the timeline had a massive gap. The cast did not reunite until the live finale in London, which happened right after they finally watched the sanitized edit on television. Furious at the fabricated narrative, cast members like Sinitta went rogue during the live broadcast. They demanded on-air apologies and aggressively confronted the production over the lies of omission. Forcing traumatized people to sit quietly while a fake version of their suffering is broadcast as entertainment guaranteed a collapse. The explosive live finale was the direct, unavoidable consequence of that pressure. Adam ultimately wins the public vote, taking home the Jungle Crown and the £100,000 charity prize. But the aftermath of the live broadcast was completely bleak. There was no celebration. Adam's family fled the studio immediately after the camera stopped rolling. Adam later admitted he requires extensive therapy. The paranoia and bullying he experienced in the jungle broke him mentally, leaving him a different person than the one who entered the camp. A 45-minute television product is temporary. The psychological damage inflicted on the cast members to create that product is permanent. ITV successfully curated the footage for weeks, but that control vanished the moment the participants were given a live microphone. The London finale was the point where the lived reality finally overwhelmed the television product.